In this lesson, we're going to build a custom global header and footer for our website. On the screen, you'll see the default Divi header. We're going to replace it with a new custom design, just like the demo I'm showing now. Before we begin building, let's first upload our demo images so we can use them throughout the project. Go to your WordPress dashboard, then click on Media, and choose Add New. Upload all the images from the demo folder you downloaded earlier. Once they're uploaded, they'll be available inside Divi whenever we need them. If you missed the video on how to download these demo images, make sure to watch the video under Introduction, Exercise Files, and Resources. There, I explain exactly where to get the image pack and how to extract it. Once your images are uploaded, we're ready to start building our global header. Let's start by creating the global header. Go to your WordPress dashboard, open Divi, and then Theme Builder. Click Add Global Header, choose Build Global Header, and then select Build from Scratch. We'll begin by creating a top bar at the very top of the site. Start with a one-column row inside the section, and then add a text module inside that row. For this example, I'll change the content to say, Helping Businesses Thrive with Confidence. Now let's style the background. I'll open the section settings, go into the background options, and switch to a gradient. For the first color, I'll choose black, and for the second, a dark green. To keep the bar slim, I'll go to the Design tab of the section, open the spacing settings, and set the top and bottom padding to 0. Because the section is now very tight, you'll notice it can be difficult to select the text module directly. In situations like this, it's easiest to switch to wireframe view or use the Layers panel. From there, I can select the text module so the Settings panel opens on the right. Then I'll switch back to the Visual Builder to continue working. This trick is really handy when elements overlap or become hard to click. Back in the text module, I'll move to the Design tab. First, I'll change the text color to white so it's visible against the dark background. Then I'll make the text bold, transform it to uppercase, add 3 pixels of letter spacing, set the line height to 1.3, and align it to the center. To give it breathing room, I'll also add 12 pixels of top and bottom padding. Now let's check how it looks on different devices. I'll open the responsive preview and switch to tablet view. Here, I'll reduce the font size to 12 pixels so it fits better. Keep in mind, when you change a setting on tablet, that same adjustment will apply to mobile as well, unless you go in and override it manually.
Now, let's move on to the main navigation area. This part can feel a little tricky if you're just starting out, because we'll be using some Flexbox settings to get everything aligned correctly. But don't worry, I'll guide you through it step by step. We'll begin by setting up the structure. Add a new section and insert a one-column row. Inside that row, add a menu module. In the Content tab of the menu, upload your logo. Now, you'll see the logo and the menu items displayed next to each other. Next, let's add the 2 buttons for the header. To keep them organized, we'll place them inside a group module, which will allow us to align them side by side. Add a group module below the menu. Then, insert a button module inside it. Once the button is in place, click on the 3 dots and choose Duplicate to create a second button. Now, let's arrange the menu and button group side by side. Open the row settings, then the column settings. In the Design tab, under Layout, change the layout direction to row. This places the button group next to the menu. While we're here, set the alignment to center so everything lines up neatly. To push the button group over to the right side, we'll let the menu module take up more space. Open the menu module, go to the Design tab, and under Sizing, enable Grow to Fill and disable Shrink to Fit. This pushes the button group all the way to the right. Now, let's align the menu items themselves. In the menu settings, go to the Design tab, open Menu Text, and set the text alignment to center. At this point, we have the logo on the left, the menu items centered, and the buttons on the right. Just what we want. Finally, we'll make sure the 2 buttons sit side by side. Open the Group module, go to the Design tab, and under Layout, set the layout direction to Row. With the structure in place, we're ready to start styling the elements.
Let's start styling the header. First, we'll clean up some of the extra space. Open the section settings, go to the Design tab, and under Spacing, set the top and bottom padding to 0. With the space removed, let's add a little depth. Go to the box shadow settings, choose the third preset, and lower the opacity to around 10%. This gives us a subtle shadow effect under the header. Next, we'll adjust the width of the header. Open the row settings, switch to the Design tab, and under Sizing, increase the width to 98%. This gives us a little more flexibility for smaller screens later. I'll also set the max width to 1600 pixels. If you'd rather have a full-width header, you can set this to 100% instead. Now let's style the menu itself. Open the Menu module, go to the Design tab, and under Menu Text, set the active link color to black. I'll also make the font weight semi-bold, set the text color to black, and increase the text size to 16 pixels. Under the icon settings, I'll make the hamburger menu larger by setting it to 40 pixels. With the menu set, let's move on to the buttons. For the first button, I'll change the text to Get a Quote and add a dummy link. In the Design tab, I'll enable Custom Styles. For the background, I'll use our global primary color, and for hover, I'll switch to our global hover color. The button will have a border radius of 25 pixels, with the border width set to 0. For the text, I'll make it black, set the weight to semi-bold, and adjust the font size to 15 pixels. I'll turn off the button icon, then under Spacing, I'll give it 10 pixels of padding on the top and bottom and 25 pixels on the left and right. Now let's create the second button. I'll delete the original placeholder button, then duplicate the styled button we just finished. Since I can't easily click on it in the visual view, I'll switch over to wireframe view. From here, I can duplicate the button easily. This way, the second button inherits all of the same design settings. I'll rename it to Let's Connect. And then, in the Design tab, I'll update the background color to a light gray. For the hover state, I'll set it to a slightly darker gray so users get a clear feedback effect when they move their cursor over it. Finally, let's bring the two buttons closer together. Open the Group module, go to the Design tab, and under Layout, set the horizontal gap to 10 pixels. This closes the space between them and makes the design feel tighter and more balanced. Now, let's check how the header looks on tablet and mobile. As you can see, some adjustments are needed to make sure everything stays clean and usable on smaller screens. I'll switch to tablet view and start with the row. In the Design tab, I'll add 10 pixels of padding to the top and bottom, just to give everything a bit more breathing room. Next, I'll open the column settings. In the Design tab, under Layout, I'll change the direction to column so the elements stack vertically. I'll also add a vertical gap of 10 pixels so there's some space between them. Now, let's fix the menu. In the sizing options, I'll set the width to 100%. This ensures the logo stays on the left while the hamburger icon moves neatly to the right. To create some separation between the menu and the buttons, I'll add a bottom border. I'll make it 1 pixel thick and give it a light gray color. Then, I'll add 10 pixels of bottom padding so the line doesn't feel cramped. Finally, let's adjust the button group. I'll set its width to 100%. And under Layout, I'll change Justify Content to Space Between. This spreads the buttons apart evenly, which looks better on smaller screens. The last step is to make the header sticky, so it stays at the top of the screen as we scroll down. To do this, I'll open the section settings and go to the Advanced tab. Under Scroll Effects, I'll set the stick position to Stick to Top. On smaller screens, though, I usually turn this option off because a sticky header can take up too much space. To disable it, I'll switch to Tablet View and set the sticky option to Do Not Stick. Once that's done, I'll save the layout, exit the builder, and click on Save Changes. Then I'll refresh the page on the front end. The header is now visible, and to demonstrate the sticky effect, I'll add a temporary row with extra spacing so we can scroll down. And there it is, our sticky header in action. With the header complete, it's time to move on and replace the default WordPress footer with a fully custom global footer. Back in the theme builder, I'll click on Add Global Footer, choose Build Global Footer, and then Build from Scratch. We'll start by creating the top section. I'll open the section settings, go to Background, and switch to the Gradient tab. For the first color, I'll use black, and for the second, a dark green. In the Design tab, I'll set the bottom padding to 0 pixels. Inside this section, I'll add a 1-column row. In the row settings, I'll go to the Design tab. Under Layout, I'll set the layout style to block. For spacing, I'll add 50 pixels of bottom padding and 25 pixels of left and right padding. Under Border, I'll add a bottom border with a width of 1 pixel. Set it to white and reduce the transparency to 15%. Now let's add content. I'll insert a text module into the row and type Get in Touch. In the Design tab, I'll make the text bold, set it to uppercase, change the color to our global primary color, set the font size to 18 pixels, add 3 pixels of letter spacing, and align it to the center. For spacing, I'll add 12 pixels of bottom margin. Next, I'll add another text module just below. In the body field, I'll type some placeholder text and format it as an H2. In the Design tab, under the H2 settings, I'll align it to the center, change the color to white, and add 20 pixels of bottom margin.
Under that, I'll place a button module. I'll label it Get in Touch and add a dummy link. In the Design tab, I set the alignment to center, and I'll enable custom button styles. For the background, I'll set our primary color, and on hover, I'll set our hover color. The border radius will be 25 pixels and the border width 0. For the text, I'll use semi-bold weight, set the color to black, and adjust the size to 16 pixels. I'll disable the button icon, and in spacing, I'll add 10 pixels of top and bottom padding and 25 pixels left and right.
Now let's create the main footer content. I'll add a new row with a 4-column layout. In the first column, I'll insert an image module and upload the white version of our logo. In the link field, I'll add a backslash so it links back to the homepage. Below the logo, I'll add a social media follow module. Inside, I'll add Facebook
X, and YouTube. Going back to the module settings, in the Design tab under Layout, I'll justify content to center. On Tablet View, I'll switch this to Start. Under Icon, I'll set the icon color to black. For spacing, on Tablet View, I'll add a left margin of 60 pixels. Back in the Content tab, I'll give each network a background color using our primary color. Now let's move to the second column. In the column settings, under Layout, I'll set the vertical gap to 0. On Tablet View, I'll add 25 pixels of left and right padding. Then I'll add a text module, type Quick Menu, and format it as an H3. In the Design tab, I'll make it semi-bold, uppercase, set the color to white, and size it at 16 pixels. I'll also add 20 pixels of bottom padding. Below that, I'll add an icon list module. I'll remove 2 of the default list items so we only have 1. For spacing, I'll set the left padding to 0 so it lines up neatly with the heading. In the first list item, I'll type Home, set the icon to a chevron right, and add a dummy link. In the Design tab, I'll set the icon size to 14 pixels, and under Body Text, make the weight regular and the color white. Then I'll duplicate the list item 3 more times and change the text for each one.
To speed things up, I'll open the row settings, remove columns 3 and 4, then duplicate the second column 2 times. That gives us 3 identical quick menu columns. I'll pause here to update the text in the duplicates. The fourth column will be for contact information. I'll change the heading to Contact and replace the icon list module with a blurb module. In the blurb, I'll remove the title, keep the body field, and add my address there. Under Image and Icon, I'll enable Use Icon and choose the pin icon. In the Design tab, I'll set icon placement to the left, set the icon width to 22 pixels, and under spacing, add 4 pixels of top margin and 10 pixels of left margin. For the text, I'll set the weight to regular and the color to white. Under sizing, I'll set the content width to 100%. Then I'll adjust spacing with -10 pixels of left margin and 30 pixels of bottom padding.
Under Animation, I'll disable the icon animation. I'll duplicate this blurb module and change the text to my email address. For the icon, I'll use the email icon and adjust its spacing slightly so it aligns nicely. Now let's create the bottom section of the footer. I'll add a new row with one column, and in the Design tab, I'll set the width and max width to 100%. Then, instead of adding a module, I'll insert another row inside this row with one column. Switching to wireframe view makes this easier to see. In the Design tab, I'll center it, and in spacing, I'll add 10 pixels of top and bottom padding. Under border, I'll add a top border with 1 pixel, white color, and 15% transparency. Inside this inner row, I'll place a text module and type my website address. This could also be used for copyright text or privacy policy links. In the Design tab, I'll make it semi-bold, set the color to white with 75% transparency, and size it at 13 pixels. I'll save the layout, exit, and then save changes in the theme builder. On the front end, I'll refresh the page, and there's our custom footer. I noticed the top section could use more space, so I'll go back, open the top row, and in the column spacing, I'll add 50 pixels of top and bottom padding. Save again, refresh, and now it looks perfect, matching the demo. That's our global footer complete. In the next lesson, we'll start building the home page.